So Project Fire Buddies, I came up with the idea when I was on the ambulance. We were running calls. We were getting a decent amount of calls for kids in the area that were battling cancer. Some of them stick with you afterwards. It just sticks in your gut and you wish you could have done more. So I went to the fire chief and said, I want to do something. I'm not sure what I want to call it. I'm not sure what we're going to do, but it's going to help these kids. Can I get the green light for this? And he's like, yeah, just keep me in the loop. Do whatever you need to do. So the next time I went on a call to this individual's house, I talked with his mom and I'm like, hey, you think maybe when he's feeling better, we could come by and hang out and spend some time together? And she brightened up. She loved it. And she's like, yeah, absolutely. So I gave her my card. She texted me the one day when I was on shift and she's like, hey, the boys are feeling well, because he had two brothers too. Boys are feeling well. If you guys want to stop by anytime, let me know. So we scheduled a visit. The kids loved it. They embarrassed us at air hockey. They embarrassed us at video games. But to see these kids and their reaction to this, it was like, there's something here, we got to do something for this. And now we found other kids in the neighborhood that were battling these pediatric critical illnesses. But the one, he was a young man that was diagnosed with DIPG. And DIPG is a rare form of brain cancer. So this young man, he was 7 years old, diagnosed with this, and we knew we had to do something big for this family. This kid's a warrior. This kid he is a true hero. Like, people look at police and fire like they're heroes, and they are, but they chose that job. This kid didn't choose any of this. And now he's got to be a warrior. This kid's favorite player was Zach LaVine at the time. We got the family floor seats to the Bulls. He got to go in early and warm up with Zach LaVine before the game. Zach gave him his jersey. Like, it was an awe moment. So right there, that kind of checked that box where, okay, we're doing something right here and we need to do it. What solidified it and really showed everything is when this young man on his last day, his family wanted us to be there with them, and to have that honor to be there with this family at this time, I realized we brought something else to the table, which was comfort. That's when I knew we were onto something. We had to keep doing what we were doing.
My daughter was 5 when she was diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor called diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma, or DIPG. We shared her diagnosis with our friends and family, and that news quickly made it to Kurt because we grew up in the same community.
The DIPG demon, right? And so little Maggie was diagnosed with DIPG, so we knew the 5 other fire buddies previously what we were going to have to do.
And I first said, absolutely not. We were very protective over Maggie after she was diagnosed. We had a lot that we needed to figure out still. And although a fire truck is very cool, we had bigger things that we needed to conquer.
And then she got to see firsthand what we do. We don't do a one-time experience. We're there for the entire duration of this child's battle. And we're there every time they need us. That's the difference with us.
And then I quickly learned how much more than just a fire truck in our driveway Project Fire Buddies is. Children who have DIPG generally have about 9 to 11 months after diagnosis. And we were determined for Maggie to have as many good days as possible.
She coined the term "more good days," which was brilliant. And she goes, what does Project Fire Buddies do? They create more good days for us.
Maggie was on a limited timeline, and all we wanted was for her to enjoy life as much as she possibly could. And they were an integral part of making sure that she had as many good days as possible.
The parents really embraced everything. They're beautiful people. They embraced half birthdays. They embraced the little moments, right? We all take that for granted until we're backed into a corner. And being a part of this makes me really realize how precious time is.
It's hard. It is hard to get up every day knowing the reality that you're facing. It's the hardest thing you'll ever have to do, to watch your child die.
So when we pull up, these families that are part of our family are excited to see us. We feel good by just doing good for them. And it's so rewarding.
She rode in a limo to the Field Museum, the Shed Aquarium, where she got to meet a seal. She was able to go on a shopping spree for her first trip to the American Girl doll store. She rode in a limo to her birthday party and her dance recital and her last day of radiation. Project Fire Buddies sent us on what would be our last family trip. They sent us to Great Wolf Lodge in the Wisconsin Dells, and Maggie and her little brother got to do, everything that they could ever want to do at Great Wolf Lodge.
Maggie had such a following because she was the life of everything. She was the life of party. She was just so vocal and just so loving.
Maggie's cancer started to spread to different parts of her brain in September, with it spreading more in November, which is when she started hospice care. It was pretty clear that she probably wasn't going to make it to Christmas.
We saw the writing on the wall and get the house up and lit up for her and give her one last true Christmas.
They brought gifts, a fire truck in our driveway, of course. And then Maggie got to brag to them all about her dance moves for her holiday Christmas show. Maggie passed away about 3 weeks later, December 15th, 2022. And Project Fire Buddies and Kurt and Ryan were there again. Their caring, loving nature didn't stop when Maggie died. They're really hard to get rid of.
I know Maggie's always looking down, keeping an eye on all of us. My message to firefighters out there to wanting to make a true impact in their town, in their community where they work. There is so much red tape surrounded in the job we do. And when we want to help, and when we're called out to help, sometimes we're not able to help people the way we can or the way we want to. With this organization, you're able to make that true impact directly. You're able to control the narrative. You wanted to make the world a little bit brighter than you found it. Well, this is how you do it.
So for us, continuing to support Project Fire Buddies is about Maggie. Maggie had the biggest heart, and I can't imagine trying to honor her in a different way than trying to give these good days to kids.
I get the messages from the firefighters. This is the greatest thing I've ever been part of. I'm so excited about this. The entire fire service is changing because of Project Fire Buddies. It's not because of me. It's because those firefighters out there want to make a difference. And I definitely see in the future that it will be across all 50 states in every firehouse.
There should absolutely be a Project Fire Buddies everywhere.
We're there day in and day out. Any phone call, any need, we're there. That's why you fund Project Fire Buddies.